Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome to episode 40 of Build the Terminator.
The Terminator. Week by week, build the T-800, the killing machine that defined a generation. Easy to build with high-quality metal components. You can control sound, lights, articulated limbs, and LED eyes. And explore the Terminator universe. Build the Terminator. Issue 1, just $1.99.
So exciting stuff today, guys and girls. We are finally going to be hooking this bad boy, the head, the completed head, onto the shoulder. So we're going to have a robot coming together. I've had a look through the steps. There's 16 in total. There's quite a lot to do. We're going to be using every part we've put together so far, except the battery box for the motor for the lights of the eyes and also the jaw. So that part, with the electronic part, we don't need. But everything else you've put together so far will be used today. So it's really exciting. Really hope it's going to go well and it's not going to fall apart. And yeah, so let's get started. So as always, just going to quickly run through the parts that came with this week's issue. So first of all, you've got 43. This is the thoracic cage base. Then you've got these little plastic socket liners. There's 2 of those. These parts here I actually forgot to mention in the last week's episode, issue 38. So these were the braces. We didn't actually use them. We're going to be using them today. So I've got them back out because I forgot to say in the last issue we didn't need them. Then you've got some similar ones here, which are the struts. There's 2 of those. And then a few little parts here, so the screws and stuff. So you've got, first of all, the smaller ones, which are the PM 2x6mm screws, 1 spare with 7 of those. Then the much larger ones, we have the, let's double check what they are, 3x6mm screws, 1 spare, again with 6. And lastly, you've got 5 of the M2 nuts with 1 spare. All you need is your crosshead screwdrivers and everything that we've assembled so far, like I said. So all the parts, all the metal parts, all the plastics, everything's needed today to get these parts together. So kicking off with steps 1 to 6. First of all, you're going to take this component here, which is from issue 38. And what you're going to do, from the back part here, you're going to take the struts, so that's components 41 from this issue, and you're going to insert them into these little holes here. So just get that in alignment, like so. Okay, then once you've done that, you're going to flip it over, supporting it from those struts, and then you want to take the smaller, the much bigger screws. So we've got the 46, which are the 3x6mm screws, so they're the fatter ones. You're actually going to screw those into the struts from the other side. So I'm just going to use my magnetic screwdriver here because it's quite deep and I want it to be precise. So you just tighten the screws so the struts stay in place. Okay, that's the first one, and just do the second one. Okay, now once you're happy with that, you can move on to step 3. So what we're going to do here, just going to turn it around again. So you'll see that there are 4 hexagonal shapes there. That's where the M2 nuts go. So we're going to put 4 of those in there. Now you may need tweezers for this. To be honest with you, I can't be bothered to faff around with tweezers. I just put them in my hands. Not easy because I don't have the most delicate hands, but I'll adjust them accordingly. So moving on to steps 4 to 6, you're going to take the thoracic base, and what you'll see here, there are 4 screw holes. So we're just going to align that up with those nuts, like so. And then once you've done that, you're going to take 4 of the PM screws, which are the 2x6mm ones, so they're much smaller ones. and you're going to lock those in to tighten and secure this section up. So just bear with me, as this is always another fiddly part, which is my favourite time. Obviously be careful not to lose any of the nuts, because you've only got so many spare and it's very easy to lose them. So that's just one partially in. Obviously I didn't mention, make sure you push them in from the bottom. You won't be able to screw them in from the top anyway. Okay, once that's secured like so, you're then going to take the parts from the previous issue I mentioned, so those are the long bars, and you'll see here at the top there are two holes where we're going to put those into. So just slot them in like so, and then we can move on to the next steps. So for steps 7 to 10, first of all you're going to take the plastic socket liner, and that's going to go in the top part of this component here. So just slot that in like so, and then once you've done that, this section here, so this is the struts, that's what's actually going to go through our shoulder connector. So I'm going to slowly lower it onto that hole, and you can align it up like so. So there you go, that's connected. Now obviously it's quite heavy, so it might move around a bit, so you just have to support it. Then you're going to take the thoracic cage joints. So remember we did those in issue 37 and 38. They're going to sit nicely into these parts here at the bottom. So you just slot those in. So they won't actually stay in at the moment, because another part is going to go over this to lock it all in. So I'm just going to put it there for the moment, but as you'll see, it's not actually going to stay within there on its own, so it needs support. But anyway, let's move on to the next steps, 11 and 12. So taking the head, you'll see that there is a lined socket on the actual connector. So it's just there. What you're going to do, you're going to actually just slide it through that gap. So again, it's not going to go all the way through, but that's how it's looking at the moment. So this is very fragile, so I'm just being very careful, because it's obviously not fully supported. So now for the final steps, and probably some tricky steps as well. So we've got steps 13 to 16. So first of all, you're going to take the thoracic cage assembly from issue 37. And what you're going to do, you're going to put another one of those plastic parts, the sockets, into that recess at the top. And that's actually what's going to lock in the neck and the head from the other thoracic cage. So what we're going to do, we're going to flip it over, and what you're going to see, from where the struts were, they're going to go into these parts here. This section here will be what's fusing the neck and shoulder together from the front, so it's going to encase it in. And obviously these sections here, we're going to go over the parts here. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to put that over, make sure everything is in a nice alignment. So starting to feel a little bit more solid. Okay, so that's that on there, that's locked in. Then once you've done that, you'll see that there are 3 holes that need to be tightened. So you're going to take your much bigger screws, which were the PM 3x6mm screws, and you'll see there's one screw here right at the top, and also there are 2 there. So that's what's going to go on the struts, and that's what's going to lock all of it together. So I'm just going to do the first ones. First one at the top. You'll get a much better angle of this once I flip it over, but I'm filming it like this so you've got a better perspective, but it's obviously a bit harder for me because I'm not looking down at it. It's not facing it, it's facing away, but it looks better for you guys, so I hope you appreciate it. Has made it a bit more fiddly, but nonetheless, we are there. Okay, that's the second one. And then just do the last one here, number 3, for step 15. Make sure they're nice and tight. So step 16 I'm going to ignore because it says to screw some little screws in, but I can't see where it needs to go. It says on the chart that you must put them at the back here, but there's actually nothing to secure them in, so I'm just going to ignore it. I don't think it's very important. But anyway, that's that issue complete. So guys and girls, after a lot of fiddling around and what seemed like was a pain in the arse, I now have a fully completed fused head, shoulders, arm and thoracic cage. So as you can see, it's quite substantial. It's looking big and it's looking healthy. I'm really happy with how it's turned out, to be honest. There's a few parts here that I think are a little bit loose and I'm going to secure them, like the neck. The neck seems to be coming apart, so I'm just going to run a little bit of super glue on that. As I mentioned about the screws at the bottom here, I honestly don't know what they're talking about. If any of you other subscribers know, please tell me, enlighten me, because I've looked and unless I've got something the wrong way around, which doesn't look the case, I don't see the point of them for the moment. But as you can see, that's how he's looking. He's looking quite substantial and quite scary as well. So we've got there, you know, 40 issues in and we're there. I've got a completed Terminator. So that's it for today. I hope you guys liked the video and have liked the process so far. Moving on to the final 2 issues of the year, sadly, it's going to be issue 41 and 42. That's all I have left, so I've caught up with everyone now. And for issue 41, we're fitting a vertebra and casing. So that's the beginnings of the spinal column. And so that's 41, and then obviously 42, you've just got the first 5 vertebra that will build the spine. Obviously there's the spinal column, that section there. So yeah, not much to do. I'm going to hang on for another week. I want to get these videos done for you because I'm going to put in some before and after photos as well of how it's come together, and then I can just finish off those last 2 and that's it for the year. So I've got a Terminator for Christmas. He may not have his legs and other arm and whatnot yet, but I'm really happy that he's looking like this. You know, I couldn't really ask for more. I'm not very happy about the teeth, I will say. Looking at the teeth now again, they're not representative of what is on the front here. And I know some people have done some mods. On the Terminator group on Facebook, you can actually buy them from a lady called Chloe. Really good teeth. I am probably going to buy them at some point. It would be a pain in the arse if you want to take these teeth out again and do it, but they're not how they should be. They're not Arnold's teeth. And that's a bit disappointing from Hachette because this is a very expensive build, and for something which is relatively quite small, I'm quite surprised how bad it is, really. And for a while I didn't think it was bad, but until I compared it to the new ones I've seen on the mods, it blows it out of proportion. Everything else though, obviously you saw the fingers are 1 or 2 a bit flimsy still, but I'll be honest, I don't really care. I'm going to just use hopefully the other arm when it's ready with that hand to hold the gun, and it should be firm, but I'm not really going to mess around with the fingers too much in terms of articulating them and moving around. They're just going to be, you know, as a model, they're just there for show. So I don't care too much about that, unlike other people who are, you know, quite hung up on it. Obviously I understand that it's cost a lot of money, a lot of time, and you want everything to be perfect, but sometimes things can't be. For me, it's good enough and I'm happy with that. So if you liked today's episode, please remember to like, comment and subscribe, and also share my videos if you know anyone who might be interested in it. But anyway guys, it's been great catching up, and until next time, me and Mr. T800 will see you soon for issues 41 and 42.